Welcome to the podcast. It's been a while, Ross. What's up? What's been going on?
Well, we couldn't be bothered to do the podcast for a few days, and now we can be bothered,
That's
so
true.
we're here.
We've been a bit distracted, funnily enough, because we haven't gone anywhere. We may as well have just sat in these seats the whole time because it's lockdown, baby. We ain't moved a bit.
It's the lockdown. We are locked down.
I miss the smell of the car.
The smell of the car. Oh yeah, it's nice being in the car, isn't it? Going places, going anywhere other than your house.
Yeah, other than the living room.
The living room's
bathroom.
good.
Oh, I'm in a closet.
I'm in a shower. It's almost like a room, but wet.
Yeah,
man.
I miss roomal variety.
Roomal variety. Roomal. I like that.
Yeah,
that's
right.
an interesting phrase.
It is definitely not a word, but then again, I'm in my house all day and there's no one around to correct me. Take that, grammar police!
It's a word now. Now it's a word. Maybe by the end of the year, it'll be in the dictionary.
Very good.
Dictionary, because it is an area of diction.
Ooh, it's an area of diction. An airy, I think, is like an old English word for like a sort of like a room with outdoor features. An airy. So you got like if you'd be like, I think that's right. I could be completely wrong on that.
A room with outdoor features, so it's like a room where you're inside, but you feel like you're outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Sick.
Like a gazebo or a what are those ones with the glass on the front?
Conservatory.
A conservatory.
Conservatory. So it's a conservatory. It's a Tory to conserve things.
Yeah. I'm not sure the word. I'm not sure the word is particularly illuminating, but I am intrigued by the concept of people who build extensions on their house. If you're just like, you know what this house would need? An extra room with glass walls.
Yes, absolutely. An extra room with all glass walls doesn't match the rest of the entire house. Doesn't match any of the... The rest of your house is made of bricks, but we're going to build a new wing of the house. Should we build it with bricks like the rest of the house? No. Let's build it with bricks' fragile cousin, glass.
The thing about the conservatory is that you can only build one if you already have the necessary outdoor space that it's mimicking. It's an admission of just like, I want a room that's like the outdoors, but without any possibility of a bird shitting on me.
That's good. It's funny because it's like, I'm going to convert this genuinely nice outdoor airy space into an indoor space that's pretending to be outdoors.
Yes.
So I'm going to try and like trick myself into feeling I'm outdoors when really I'm still inside.
That's right. So what this house needs is a human fish tank sans water.
Human fish tank sans water. That's a really good way of putting it. They should make conservatories where you can fill them with water and then it can double up as a tank of fish.
Yes.
And an orrery to conserve yourself.
I would be more inclined to purchase a conservatory if there was a little mini castle inside it. I think that would add an air of whimsy to my home that is missing in most modernist architectural design.
That's good. That's good. Do you think that like the conservatory, how does the conservatory fit in with the spectrum of the old saying, if you live in a glass house, you shouldn't throw stones? Because if you live in a mainly brick house, but you got a conservatory, should you throw pebbles?
Oh, naughty. Turn that off. No phone time.
It's spam anyway. It could be hilarious. Hang on.
You're taking this is Russian roulette here. Let's see what they got to say.
It's risky.
No.
I get so many spam calls. Sometimes it's something funny, but yeah, genuinely, apologies to
Why
everyone.
do you think that is? Do you think you're a mark? Do you think on the phone you're a rube?
Some sort of sucker? Well, no. You know what? I've been a mark and a rube somewhere along the line, and I've allowed some nefarious factors to get hold of my phone number, my personal phone number, and now I get spam calls like nobody's business. The spam calls I get, my God.
I hate spam calls. I mean, everyone does. They're like traffic wardens. It's one of those aspects of life that you're allowed to like have vitriolic hatred for.
It's like digital traffic wardens on your back, but they just steal your time.
But they are more scum because, of course, they are actually often doing something genuinely criminal. Whereas the traffic warden is merely an extension of authority, and to a certain extent, you will be civil around them. But you can't have any of that for the scam caller. The scam caller is all kinds of evil. You're allowed to call them subhuman scum, which is rare. It's unusual to be able to throw something as cruel as that out into a group of people.
Well, the thing with a scam caller is that like if you're the right sort of person, thing with that call is I don't know why or how they do those, but they just call me and it's just silence for 2 seconds and then they hang up. So it's not even, they're not even trying to sell me something. They've not even tried to finesse me. They've literally just decided we're going to waste this man's entire life 2 seconds at a time.
Yeah.
Just in 2 second increments. While he's doing his podcast, we'll steal 2 seconds from him. While he's at the gym, we'll steal 2 seconds off him. Over time, I dread to think how much time this adds up to that they've stolen from me.
That's a good. It might be in the realms of 42 seconds total.
Mate, I think it's minutes. I think it's in the minutes they've taken.
God damn! You should ask for those minutes back. Those minutes are valuable. If time is money, they've essentially stolen money from right out of your pocket.
Do you know what the irony is? It will take me more minutes to get those minutes back. The amount of minutes it would take me to get back the minutes that I've lost will probably ultimately result in me still being down net minutes.
Yeah, that's almost certainly true. The thing with scams, though, is while I have now gone on record saying that they are all sorts of evil things,
correct,
you have to admire the complex scam. When does a scam rather become like a con? Like when does it get upgraded to the like?
I know where. A scam, you're kind of a fool for falling for a scam. A scam is like a really dumb offer that you're not smart enough to realise is a scam, so you get finessed.
Yeah.
A con, however, is when...
Or a
ruse, or perhaps sort of a caper, maybe?
That's the word I was looking for. See, a caper is top level. Like if you're at the level of caper, you're like pretending to be an oil baron, you've got like a fake mustache on, it's a whole palaver.
To me, here's the distinction. You've got caper, con, scam. And the scam is just like you fell for a bad deal you shouldn't have. Mm-hmm. The con is like somebody has specifically crafted a deal that's too good to be true to trick you and perhaps even suckered you in with a good deal that you've gotten. So it's like in the old con man shows where it's like, you put yourself at a loss by letting someone have you over on a deal too good to be true. But then on the next deal, the scam converts into a con, is that you think you can get something for nothing, and then you go all in on the next deal.
Yes.
The caper seems to suggest multi-locational, perhaps multi-target too.
Yes, that's true. And the target may not end up being the person you think the target is. Like, you think it's the heiress with the diamond necklace, but actually she's in on it. Mm-hmm. And it's actually about getting the codes to fucking Fort Knox or something. Well, actually, that becomes a caper. You get to the next stage, or the heist realm, which is in a way that's its own category. That's it's the petty theft, burglary, and like once again, much like with the scam, the lower end versions of it aren't admirable. But once you're robbing a bank, or once you're like putting on a fake persona to trick someone into giving you their inheritance, it becomes admirable. You go like, well, these thieves, these scum have devised a way that it's hard work. They've earned the money that they've stolen, and I think that to a certain extent you have to respect that.
I feel like there's two schools of thought when it comes to capers.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that the degree to which you get to a caper, there's either the take by trickery or take by force, and both are admirable in their own ways.
Mm-hmm. To a certain extent, by force can be achieved by anyone who's got their hands on some sort of some weapon. If you're taking stuff by force because of the muscles you've built up, again, there's a degree of admiration I have for that. But again, I think ultimately, I have more respect for the ruse, the trickery, because there's got to be a level of intellectual clout to pull that off.
When I was growing up, my father, who may or may not end up watching this, who knows, was scammed numerous times.
Oh, no.
I would say capers. He fell foul the victim of several capers.
You can't judge someone for falling victim to a caper.
Well, it was sad because I only really understood after I'd grown up that what he was trying. What had happened is there were numerous capers my father had fallen foul to. One particular one that I remember was that he was approached by a man who had offered to sell him a laptop at an obscenely low price. And this was back in the day when you didn't come around laptops too fast. So, bless my dad, he thought he was getting his son a discount laptop. And he was finessed in a move whereby they showed him the laptop as part of a laptop case bag that they were selling it with. And once my father had agreed, I'll take the laptop at that incredible bang-up price, some sort of sleight of hand trick went down and they swapped it and replaced the laptop with cans of Coca-Cola to the equivalent weight of the laptop.
And therein lies the finesse, the equivalent weight.
Yeah. And imagine my disappointment when I was given that as a gift. I must admit, disappointing but delicious laptop. Went down smooth. No, really though, apparently, yeah, I remember as a kid my father being finessed in such a way and feeling both sad that my father and me had been taken for a ride, but also a bit of admiration for what a great finesse that is.
You know, it gets to the level of caper because there was like they did a form of trickery that wasn't about you. You know, they got the weight sorted. And, you know, you have to admire that. I remember you got some Amazon packages at one point that had been... The high-value item had been swapped for a low-value item of equivalent weight. What
was that again? I can't remember what that was.
They gave you toilet paper.
Oh, wait, yeah. They gave me... I'd ordered, like, something really expensive. It was like a microphone. It was like an actual... It was like... It might have been one of these mics. It might have been this mic. I had to order this twice. And, yeah, I was finessed good and proper. They sent me, the same weight, just a bunch of toilet roll. And this was pre-pandemic, so that toilet roll might have actually been worth a lot more if I'd have kept it for a few months.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, maybe they were doing you a favour, ultimately, these time-travelling scammers.
Yeah, maybe it was me in the future going back to give myself the toilet paper that I didn't know I would need. Sometimes when life hands you a really bad L that you don't expect, you should just be like, no, this is me in the future.
Yeah, it's like, this is actually... Yeah, sometimes when you really just can't handle an L that you've been dealt, and it's happened to all of us. Let's be honest. The best way to just stop thinking about it is to make up an elaborate fantasy that explains it in your favour.
You know who we saw do this brilliantly the other day? Pharrell Williams, where he was talking about his career not taking off at the start and like his first record deal going wrong, and his explanation for this failure was just like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of, well, time just wasn't ready for me, and the perfect opportunity that I needed to succeed was not ready for time. So essentially, I had to be a whack musician for 6 more years.
Yeah.
It's like you can't just be like, yeah, I'm Pharrell, but I was shit at making music between 92 and 96. But like, no, time wasn't ready for me. I was already great, but time wasn't ready for my amazing beats. But then he's Pharrell. What could I he's kind of right.
Look at him now, though. I saw a picture of his weird house. I don't know if it was one that he sold or is currently residing in, but the fact that it looked like a Toyota dealership, like a high-end Toyota dealership, but it was like the architecture of it was sort of strange because it was quite office-like. It was quite official. It didn't seem like a home. It's like a beautiful building,
like a startup HQ. Cupertino, California, or some shit.
Exactly, and they do starting to do payments. You know, they've got a fountain out front. So
yeah,
probably a slide instead of stairs because they're funky and cool.
We don't go fucking stairs. Fucking stairs. We just slide down on our arses. We're not going to use our legs like chumps. We're going to have our legs removed.
Good thing about the slide instead of stairs is that at least on the way down, it is more handicap accessible.
That's really true, actually. Yeah. That's really true. On the way up. Well, then again, if you're going on the way up for the handicaps, if you're a strong-bodied one, you can you push yourself up the slide really fast. But you got to keep the forward momentum going constantly the whole way, because if you let off for a second, you're going back. That's not pretty.
That's true. So the way up, it's foobar, but it depends. The slide setup that I was picturing was one of those.
Circular.
I imagine that would be
slide.
harder to go up, to be fair, but easier to go down, and probably easier to place in your slide-fitting mansion. Would you get a slide if you had a mansion?
Yeah, into a pool. I would get a slide that goes from an interior bedroom into the pool, and that's just what I would do. I wouldn't care what anyone would have to say. I wouldn't seek permission from the council to build it. I would be at the point where I would feel like some sort of Bond villain. Yeah. I can do what I want. Come and get me. And if they do come and get me, they'll come and knock on the door. They'll come up to the room where the office. They'll be like, sir, you can't do this without permission. I'll be like, catch me. And I'll jump on the slide away, and I'll be gone.
And I'll be very wet.
Yeah. And I'll just hope that they don't also get on the slide, because then I'll be in a spot of bother.
It hurts your Bond villain kudos if, like, the elaborate thing you've built is not for disposing of unqualified henchmen, and rather for your own butt-based enjoyment. Yay! Down into the pool.
No, what I'll have, it's like when you have a train set, right? I'll have a certain point where it forks off into two, and one will go to the pool that's full of laser beam infested sharks, and the other one will go to the fun pool, which I go.
That's good. That's really good. That's efficient use of your supervillain architecture. Yeah. Though I do think the possibility of a British secret agent breaking in and somehow tricking you into thinking you're going on to the good slide, but in fact you're heading to the Piranha one. I think you've kind of set yourself up for failure there.
Yeah.
I mean, when the Bond villain buys the Piranha-filled pool, which they all seem to enjoy of some variety or another, you must think it's like, oh, damn, it's going to end up me in it, isn't it? Like you're saying, you're building your own mausoleum.
That's so true. That's so true. If you ever find yourself just like building, some sort of like death device machine for your enemies, just if at any point the architect building it says to you like, and now this is really important, you must remember this. You don't want to get this wrong. I'd be like, you know what? Whatever part this is, let's not do it because this sounds like it's going to get me. I'm gonna get got.
Let's put some health and safety stuff in here. There's got to be a warning sign when you're. Please be careful. Slide is in Piranha mode.
Unless you are an evil villain, in which case ignore what you just heard. You didn't just hear that. There are no piranhas coming for you.
Don't worry about it.
What company is it, I assume it's Acme, that make all of the devices that Bond villains have on deck to kill Bond?
Well, that is always the issue with the, what do you call it, the supervillain lair, is that there must be some at least morally ambiguous design firm, and well as a team that they hire to build the setup that are just like, this is fine. We actually specialize in. See, if James Bond was a really good spy, he would find out whoever that organization is, and then would just simply systematically murder all of their customers.
So say we're at a board meeting for 00 killing what the company
Spectre.
called?
We're just at Spectre.
Spectre Home.
Hey, it's the shareholders meeting for Spectre's Home. It's like, hi everyone, welcome to the shareholder meeting. Obviously, it's been a great year for Spectre Housing. We've made some very ambitious projects. Of course, our Piranha Pool is still our best-selling item, but we have pushed the boat out with our space lairs. Our first space lair with Hugo Drax has been an enormous success. We do have had some problems, of course. We haven't had... The problem that we'd like to fix here at Spectre Homes is our issue with repeat customers. Because for one reason or another, our customers keep getting murdered in elaborate ways that sometimes involve our product, and that's bad PR, so we need to think about that. So PR guys, what are we going to do?
I would say that we've got like a real branding problem when it comes to like secret agent crushing devices, because like the general consensus amongst society is that like secret agents are good, and like the evil villains that we tend to service, they've got a bit of an image problem. They're all... Hugo Drax is fighting a big cancellation on Twitter at the moment, so these evil villains getting cancelled. It's hard out there for our market. Also, we didn't get too much good PR from the product recall of our, big rectangle that you strap James Bond to and shoot a laser through the middle of his body, because apparently if you put a coin in front of the laser, it just ruins the whole thing. So
the laser splits off into 5 different points, and unfortunately, the shackles...
They perfectly laser off the shackles. So that was a real design flaw. We're going to have to speak to the team about that one. The Drax Corporation. If I was an evil villain, I wouldn't name my corporation after me.
No. Yeah, that's true.
It's just like...
Spectre's good. Spectre's
Do you think?
Spectre...
Isn't Spectre the guy's name, though?
No, it's Blofeld, who's in charge of Spectre.
Blofeld, that's a weird name anyway. Wonder how he got that name.
Nah, that's odd, wasn't it? It's nearly a double entendre, for which the James Bond films are famous.
Is it a double
Plenty
entendre?
O'Toole. Well, it's Blow something.
He blows guys.
It's half of double entendre.
Okay.
I mean, if they called him... They had Odd Job. So Blofeld, Odd Job. Mix them together. You got your double entendre there. But the point is...
Nice.
That
Oddfeld.
Feld
odd. That blowjob felt odd. Fuck's sake.
James Bond.
Anyway, look, we don't have to just talk about James Bond. We once discussed the very exciting idea of discussing what we would do if we were president.
Yeah, so
of United States or any particular country.
I think specifically United States, because this is where it came up. Just like, if you were president. We were talking about the president because
Because everyone's talking about the fucking president. It's all anyone's been talking about for the past few years.
We try not to discuss politics too much to maintain an air of whimsy. So forget about who's in the White House now and who's going to be in the White House later, whoever that is.
A bunch of drunk guys, apparently. Sorry, we're not talking about this.
No. We're trying to storm the capital of your hearts, not everything else. Okay, so
wait, we've got to storm the capital of their hearts.
Yeah.
We need to get real drunk.
That's a good idea. No. So, forget about who's in the White House now and who's later, whoever his name is. What if you were president? You got 4 years, guaranteed, pretty much, unless you do something really bad. And it'd have to be really bad.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway.
So you get 4 years. What do you do?
First order of business. Slide in the White House.
It's all about that slide, baby.
Slide budget increased tenfold. No, real talk. On a more earnest tip, because although we're cracking jokes, we discussed this the other day, and my genuine passion, if I was in any sort of political power, would be to encourage entrepreneurship and, like, instead of welfare or in addition to welfare or whatever, just give people money to start their own business and very closely monitor it. You can't just get a 10k business grant and just spend it all on crank, like unless you're in a cranks.
Unless you get receipts. You got the receipts for the crank, in which case you're fine. It's a business expense.
You spent $5,000 with Spider.
Yes, I did! And I'm so good at business now! Oh!
What if the crank gets all the business done, though? You do all your accounts yourself. I just get crank and do it all myself. All my receipts, do it myself.
We have a slight issue with the paperwork you've given us, in that it's all that's written on it is pictures of giant bleeding eyes and the phrase repeated over and over again. Kill them all!
What, is that not right?
No, that's not how you do your taxes.
That's like a fucking vlog creation sketch. This guy's just like, these aren't taxes. This is just paper covered in blood. Oh, can I not file that? Is that not taxes?
So you're going to encourage entrepreneurial shit.
I'd give people money to start businesses. What else would I do? What are the current big... Get rid of coronavirus. Get rid of it. It's rubbish.
Done. Yeah, not a big fan of that.
Rubbish. Whoever's idea that was, crap. Get rid of it. Repeal coronavirus. Money for entrepreneurs. You know what I would do? Like everyone's doing a bunch of stuff for equality at the moment. I would change that. Get rid of all the equality
No
laws.
more equality.
Everything unequal favourably to me.
Yeah, that's good. That's similar to what I would do. In that, so I'm first day of presidency, and then I'll have a little meeting with all the types. I don't know who they are.
They're just the weird old people. They'll come along. They smell bad.
Yeah, those guys. Well, first of all, replace them.
Yeah,
replace them with some real go-getters.
Yeah, good smelling people.
Yeah, good smelling people with good smells and good vibes.
Yeah.
So do that, and then fire all those people and replace them with civil engineers and architects.
Nice.
Because my plan for America is that for the next 4 years, I'm not gonna show up to press briefings. I'm not gonna go to like conferences and no, I'm just gonna build stuff.
Great.
I just take off my president hat and I put on a yellow hat and I'm just like infrastructure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna build roads. I'm gonna build dams. I'm gonna build libraries sometimes. I don't know, maybe not libraries. I'm just gonna spend 4 years building everything, and they're like, sir, the president of Japan's here on a visit. I'm like, I don't care, I'm building an Olympic swimming pool in Michigan.
And the president of Japan's just like, oh, I wanted to party, I bought sushi.
I'd just be like, I would put the government into debt doing it as well. Like, I would rack up the national debt just building more and more elaborate things until they stop me.
Until they stop you. They'll be like, we've got too many roads, the economy's going too well, somebody's got to stop this guy, we've got to go back to not doing fuck all. Like we usually do.
President ordinary things. There's 0% unemployment because you've employed everyone during your giant infrastructure projects. Now who are we going to fuck over on a constant basis?
But what about the deficit? What are we going to do when the economy stops doing really well?
Like, shut up, I'm in my presidential badminton court that I got people to build because I am president. Yeah,
love it.
Sick.
Love it. Okay. I love that idea, and I love that we're just setting aside the money, the borrowing money thing. Let's just print a bunch of it. We'll magic it up. Magic's the thing. So, question is, right, say you were pressed, and they're just like, Mr. President, we've actually built, like, most of the good stuff. We've built all the stuff you wanted really quick. Turns out it was easy. We just, all politicians up until now have not really done anything. So, you actually wanted to do something. It was easy. We did it. So now, we've basically achieved everything. You can just spend a load of money on something really stupid because no one's even got anything to build. But if people, we're desperate for something to build. What dumb, expensive, crazy one thing legacy project are you going to build for the people?
Well, that's right. This is the main reason why I would want to focus my administration's work purely on the construction of civil architecture, is that I would then eventually in my final year be allowed to justify, with all the expertise I've got, to build a massive landmark, which would of course you've got a couple options. Obviously there's the Statue of Liberty is one way of going about it. There's
Liberty,
the Mount Rushmore. So as a vain president, of course, I mean, there was I would probably want to carve my face into something, preferably something that means something to people. So there's that, but I don't know. I think I'm more elegant than that. I'm a little bit, I'd like it to be named after me. It doesn't need to look like me. So I think I'd be looking more at a Washington Monument type thing. Something tall, something distinctive, but iconic.
Pointy.
Yeah, pointy. Probably pointy.
Nice. Like
more than 1 point.
More than 1 point?
Maybe a giant concrete pointy ball.
Oh, that'd be sick. And then you could roll it towards your enemies.
Yeah.
If they come for you, you'd be like, big pointy ball that just rolls along.
Say some crowd of protesters of any political persuasion are coming up the Washington Mall. You just get out the presidential ordinary thing spike ball and you just roll it down the mall like it's a bowling alley.
Fuck yeah. Love that.
Also, presidential trivia. President Nixon built a bowling alley in the White House.
Oh, he did?
While I would be doing all those ambitious architectural projects with my time in office, I would also be getting some strikes with with my first lady, whoever that might be,
whoever she may be. The thing is, Nixon put a bowling alley in the White House. You really, if you're president, you can put whatever you want in, right?
That's true. Yeah, I think within reason. I think a bordello or a strip club maybe off limits.
So it reminds me of famously 50 Cent had an enormous mansion in Connecticut. I believe he sold, but it was so big it had a full nightclub, strip club, bowling alley. It had everything. It was like a Westfield shopping center in his house. Excuse me. I had a little burp into the mic as well a moment ago. It was more of an air burp rather than a sound burp.
I'm going to clean my glasses now as well.
Oh my God, it's all popping up. This is just the admin podcast now. I can't even remember what I was saying. I was just saying 50 Cent has a big house with a bowling alley in it that I'm jealous of.
He has a full bowling alley. Do you think it's... Is it like a professional standard for bowling alleys? Is there like certain size alleys, like competition, regulation bowling alley?
You know what? I don't know, but I bet there must be a certain size private bowling alley size that's maybe like 2-3 lanes. What about the bowling alley from There Will Be Blood? That's a pretty big bowling alley he's got in his crib, isn't it?
It's old fashioned, but There Will Be Blood one. But of course, it does have the benefit that you get to bludgeon your old enemies.
Well, that's
spoilers
what you're doing
for an over 10 years old movie. There.
Yeah, exactly. Or in case you're going to check out There Will Be Blood soon, spoiler alert.
I love that. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's an amazing movie.
It's an amazing movie. It's so good. I just love long, boring movies about horrible people. I think that's my favourite genre. That's just great. It's so good.
I like that movie's title is essentially a spoiler.
It's a spoiler, but it's also a bit unfair because there isn't that much blood. There's only a bit of blood.
Yeah, there will be some blood. Is not quite as catchy.
Yeah, there will be a reasonable amount of blood.
There'll be a bit of blood.
There's a bit of blood. There will be a bit of blood.
There will be blood.
There's more talk of milkshakes. But that is mostly in the end of the
film. Will be milk. Yeah, there will be milkshakes.
See, you have a milkshake, and I have a milkshake, and my straw goes all the way across. I love that. All the way across the room. I love that. So good. It's very menacing.
Yeah. I mean, that guy's
deeply.
Scary
Gives
film.
Me the shudders.
A good villain. Good villain.
Much like our Bond villains, but a little bit more sophisticated.
Who is the most timid and shit villain in the history of cinema?
Timid villains.
Shit villains, yeah.
All right, mate. There's Samuel L. Jackson in Unbreakable when he's got like he's got the bone condition, so he's got guile though.
He's got bonitis.
Yeah. My only regret is that I had bonitis.
If anyone knows what we're referring to now, you're a legend.
Yeah, that is a key piece of comedy material.
Put it in the comments. We're like a few seconds away from having to press the big button again, which is very exciting.
Yes.
Something that happens every episode. Ooh, who's gonna do it? Ooh.
Maybe there will be an outfit change. It'll just be like boom, bam, and I'm dressed as a clown.
Oh, I can't be bothered.
Yeah. My clown outfit is all the way in the other room over there, so
Clown
probably
outfit.
won't do that. Instead, I won't do anything, and I'll just be completely normal because we are approaching the halfway point of the podcast, also known as the toilet break.
I just want to say for the record, whoever designed Canon cameras that they can only record 30 minutes at a time should be shot in the head immediately, no sooner than 3 seconds. For real, it's done.
Boom, see you in a bit. And we're back mere seconds later. This is our format. Deal with it.
I changed my outfit, but it was my underwear, so you can't see. And by changed, I mean soiled. They're brown now.
So one thing we've been doing recently is we've been getting into grinding our own coffee beans. It's another way of like keeping the lockdown boredom demons at bay. Is that I like to wake up in the morning and I like to grind my coffee beans. Makes a little noise like that. And the smell you get from freshly ground coffee beans is just wakes you up so well in the morning.
It's the best. It's one of the best smells I can remember.
Yeah. It's the closest real life thing to the Limitless drug. The drug from Limitless.
The drug from Limitless. Now, anyone that's seen the Bradley Cooper film Limitless,
the iconic best film of all time, Limitless.
It's one of the best not good films. Oh, it's good. No, but it's good. It's one of the best not great films.
It's really hard to categorize.
Yeah.
Is it the best mediocre Hollywood film ever?
Man, just the core concept of this guy takes a drug that just makes him makes him have limitless smarts.
Yeah, he gets his smart XP powers topped to 100.
He's basically found the rare candy from Pokemon.
Yeah.
And has just upgraded himself to level 100 on fucking, what was it, in Viridian Forest.
Yeah.
So we discussed this briefly already. What I would do if I had access to the limitless drug is, I mean, the whole playing the stock market thing is great. Just having, I would shut down everyone in arguments on Twitter.
Yeah.
I would use all that limitless energy to just go on Twitter
and just own fools.
Just own everyone that I disagree with. Well, actually, I think you'll find oh, well, here's a source from the Times that is against what you just.
And of course, you have the limitless powers. You know exactly like the best response to silence whoever it is. But occasionally, that would probably just be like, "You're an idiot."
Yeah.
Because sometimes that is the best answer.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, oh, I've got the limitless power. I can hit people with all of the most perfect sources in my arguments on Twitter, and then they just reply calling you a slur, and you're just like, oh.
I see.
There was no limit to how mean you could be to me.
It turns out the real power came from not giving a shit.
The only thing that's limitless around here is my capacity for sadness.
I love that. But it is a really good movie. The concept essentially is, right, take a pill to be the best version of yourself that you could possibly be. Because I am already living my best life, I have no need to take any sort of performance-enhancing drugs. But if I were to... if I were to use the limitless drug, would that just mean I would just get a video out every day? 2 out a day?
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, is that your... Here's the real question, right? The limitless drug. Well, what are your limits? What is limited for you at the moment?
I feel the limitless drug would potentially be wasted on me because I operate better at a lower capacity. Like, I feel like a lot of my skills come from not trying very hard, and I think that actually is a strength of mine. And if I took the limitless drug, I'd try too hard, and I wouldn't enjoy it. I'd be tired a lot of the time, you know.
See, that's really interesting because it's like you're positioning the limitless drug essentially at odds with your own kind of abilities.
My own laid-back style.
Whereas, like, in theory, what the limitless drug should do is just destroy the limits of you being laid back. So it would get to the point where you literally just lay completely horizontal, don't have to do any work, and you just like would fart out the perfect video off the top of your head with zero effort.
I'd just crank it out. I'd just be like buzzing off my limitless drugs. Everything's in high saturated colours, and I'm just like peeling an apple in one perfect strip. That's all I'm using it for. And eventually I'm just like, oh, dude, I'm so fucking smart, and I don't care. I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm just going to enjoy it.
I'd like to think I would use the drug to increase the limits on a number of just mundane things in my life. Like, I just popped one of these things and was like, sick, let's see how many pickles I can eat.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
Turns out limitless. Oh, and I can take limitless shits too. because it had to go somewhere.
Is that that's actually the come down that comes with the limitless drug? The guy offers it to you. It's like, dude, this limitless drug will make you smarter than the smartest guy and like more capable and wise. Only problem is that you will spend 4 hours a day with your arsehole agape, just shitting out the world.
Sounds quite nice to
Would
me.
worth it? 4 hours? Would that be worth it? To be the best self you could be, but you have explosive diarrhea for like a 10% of the day.
Some days you wish you could have that to clean out the cobwebs. To be honest. The limitless drug. And now my bowels are limitless too. Limitlessly open. The free roads.
We've created the greatest performance-enhancing drug of all time. Unfortunately, it's also an extremely powerful laxative.
What if it turns out the limitless drug is just X-Lax? You get so much more work done when your bowels are cleared out.
Yeah, you always encounter those American college students who have a new study drug. It's just like, the secret to doing well in college isn't working hard. Actually, it's taking this designer fucking productivity drug that's meant for people with ADHD.
Yeah, man. You know what's been weird over the past few years? It seems like there's become a bit of a trend in hip-hop for rappers to talk about taking Adderall.
Adderall?
Yeah.
I always hear it in an American accent.
Yeah.
Have you got any Adderall?
I need some Adderall. I want to stay up all night and do some work. You know whose accent I'm doing there.
Yeah.
Someone we know from real life.
But say that archetype, the Valley Girl archetype. That's who I always associated Adderall with, as opposed to, I suppose, like the Harvard law grad, just like really grinding. Because that's kind of what Limitless was playing on, was this Adderall-addled culture. Well, kids were doing Adderall back when Limitless came out in 2011. Now it would have to be like, I take a load of Xan, and now I just get all the most relaxing stuff done.
These people that take Xans, I said these people, I mean like...
A lot of people take Xans.
At the moment, there's a real big trend amongst people taking Xans, but on the party side, which just makes no sense, because that's like... And bear in mind, full disclosure, I've never taken a Xan in my life. What the... like... It's just like, yeah, man, let's party. Here's a...
I'm real sleepy now. I'm just gonna feel real good about myself and hug my arms a bit.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that guy's not fun at the party unless all the girls are just staring at him. Just go, dude, he's so chilled out. He doesn't even give a fuck. Is that the power of Xan?
Oh, he's so chilled out. He's pissed his pants. Oh, he's so relaxed. I bet his crotch is warm, nice, wet.
That guy's so relaxed. It's almost like he's dead. Oh, wait.
Oh, no.
Someone poke him with a stick.
Oh, at least his next album's going to sell well.
Ooh, satire.
Satire. Yeah, man. Tell you what, though, all these rappers taking Adderalls, it's like, I keep hearing shit of just like, oh, yeah, Young Thug, like, he takes a bunch of Adderall and then gets in the booth and records like 10 songs. And it's just like, well, it does sound like that's what's going on when you listen to his album.
That does make sense.
It's just like, he's just taking Adderall and making sounds and... That's the song?
I always admire the stories of people, like musicians who just would go with like little planning and they just go into the recording studio and whatever the noises they'd make would become iconic. The classic, I can't remember the name of the guy. His name was something like Screaming Jeffrey Katz, Jeff something. I don't know, but he made that song, I Put a Spell on You.
Oh.
I Put a Spell on You, you're mine. And apparently... no preparation. He just like walked into the recording studio and just made all these crazy noises, and it came out with like an iconic song. I'm fascinated by like, as someone who can only create stinky YouTube videos, and it takes me weeks to even write them. I'm so admiring of musicians who just have that ability for improvisation. I think it's incredible.
Yeah, I think there's something really special about that approach of just like, you get in there, you try and be as creative as possible, and you make as many artifacts as you can of the idea of just like, you find perfection through experimentation as opposed to like, you know, the painstaking crafting of one item. It's just a different way of working, but I do really admire it. You know, the people that just get in and do that. I mean, I like it because it's like, I don't know. I don't really experience it with YouTube, but I experience it with music when it's just like, oh, I could either sit down and really craft a song, or I could actually just make some silly noises and like say whatever comes off from my head. Fucking skirt, well, fucking all day, fucking eat hoes all day. And you're just like, yeah, it's a song now. Obviously, the real rappers that do that.
Very impressive.
Very good.
Yeah. It's amazing. I feel the same way about like painting and stuff. You just think like, you imagine a lot of painters will maybe be like looking at a photograph or looking at a real thing and painting that. But then there's other painters who are just like, I'm going to just put a load of paint on a canvas and I'm going to make something beautiful because I'm good at this.
Yeah.
And I got more admiration for that, or more interest in it, because it's so different from my experience of the creative process, I guess. So I'm just like, that's like God was speaking through your brush, man, or like through your mouth if you are a very talented mumble rapper.
Yeah, just capturing this little moment of like weird special experimentation, you know, just capturing this like beautiful little moment. And then it's like the post-production is kind of like turning it into the best version of itself. I feel like that's cool.
Yeah. Much like we were talking about the Jackson Pollock. If you don't know who Jackson Pollock is, he is a painter whose whole thing is just throwing paint at a canvas.
He just slings paint about, doesn't he? That's sort of his thing.
Yeah, and no, there are many very reasonable arguments of that being bullshit, and it's just like, dude, just threw paint at a canvas. But it means that every painting is original. There's no repeating it, because the paint fell in that exact way, and only one person could technically make that painting, that exact painting.
Is the true art the art itself that he created, or really is the true art his ability to explain how this piece of shit non-art is art? He's managed to finesse everyone into believing it's art, and that perhaps is the true art. But I also agree that it's a completely unique artifact, so it's special.
That is the real genius.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a lot of respect for the art world for lots of reasons, but mostly due. I tried researching an episode about it at one point, and it didn't become very funny. But the whole thing about the art world, which makes it different from artistic endeavors that are worth your time, is that it's all based on the fact that there's only ever going to be one item. It's not repeatable, and therefore it's always going to be in the realms of rich people. It's always going to be the core audience is the rich motherfuckers who can afford to buy these paintings as tax avoidance techniques. And it's the same things with like opera and ballet and stuff like that, is that because the audience is always these really rich people who are usually very old, is that those art forms just have no way of progressing because they're stuck singing to a choir that only wants to hear the same shit over again, you know.
It's a really good point.
It's bullshit.
It's a really good point. The art world. Art. People that are arty. I work in art. I recently appraised a little flap and sheesh for 7 million.
I do arts for a living.
I work in art. I work in art. I'm an arty person. This is like one person I've met once.
We used to live in London, so it's pretty surrounded with that world. It's very popular there, and so you don't see posters on the tube for YouTube videos, do you?
Don't need to.
Yeah, you don't.
Don't need to. You don't need to artificially inflate their value with marketing.
That's what I like.
Unless you do, in which case,
fair play. Do what you have to.
Unless you want to give me some marketing money. No, it's incredibly unique because essentially, YouTube, it's almost like a bit of a closed shop. It's a bit of a closed platform, you know. You can do things externally to drive people to YouTube videos, but ultimately they are in control of the discovery of things. So, it's different from the art world in the sense that, like, who is really... I guess, in a way, galleries play the role that the YouTube algorithm play as far as, like, inflating the value of things.
If you see each painting as a thumbnail, then the galleries like the recommendation page.
The galleries like the trending page. And then the thumbnail...
The thumbnail is the painting.
Yeah.
Because what you're actually paying for in the art world is not the painting. It's ownership of it. And I know you might say that that's the same thing, and maybe it is, but no, it actually isn't, because looking at the painting is free. Owning it is what costs the money. And that's why the art world is lame.
Yeah.
Because they're the audience forever. It's not for everyone. It's only for a special elite.
Nice.
And that fucking blows. It's old-fashioned. It's bullshit. Let me look at a JPEG of your art.
Imagine that. Imagine YouTube became that, of just like, I own a collection of really good YouTube videos. You can't see them unless you come to my house.
Yeah, just the one, actually. Yeah.
I just own one really good YouTube video.
I'm actually the only people who come around... the only people who can see it, the people who come around my house. My really nice house that I don't let anyone in anyway.
Wow.
Certainly not the riffraff who wouldn't appreciate my art or my unboxing video.
My one unboxing video. What is the video? I can't tell you. You have to see it in person to truly appreciate it. It's open to interpretation.
It's an original Traplaw Ross. I have it playing in a loop in my toilet.
Imagine. There's a toilet. That would actually be quite sick. Just like, I've got a one-off PewDiePie video that no one else has ever seen.
Someone would pay for that.
He gets his willy out.
Someone would definitely pay for that.
Imagine. I bet there's worse stuff PewDiePie has done in unreleased videos.
You reckon? Yeah.
I don't know. I like PewDiePie, but I don't know.
Great.
I'm sure he's done some mad shit and just been like, I cannot upload that.
He is the man.
He's the man. He's the Mizzy man. I like his little pink sort of leopardy print backgroundy square thing that he had as his branding. He still has it as his branding. I think that's cool. I don't get it.
If I'm completely honest, I've not watched a PewDiePie video in at least half a year.
Oh, me neither. Me neither.
I watch them though. He's good. He's inspirational.
I like Pew. Let's talk normie YouTube for a minute. Let's talk normie
YouTube. It's we made this category of normie YouTube because look, we watch a lot of YouTube. Unsurprising, shocking no one. But we made a distinction between all of YouTube and then normie YouTube.
You know what I think I'm saying when I say normie YouTube? I'm saying YouTube videos that other people actually watch.
Yeah,
a lot of the YouTube content I really like is actually quite niche. So essentially, normie YouTube. People I'm enjoying. I feel like people might be interested to hear this. We've discussed Penguin Zero already. I'm also a big fan of W2S, Harry from the Sidemen.
Yeah.
From what I understand, he's a fan of me.
Oh,
I've never spoken to him, but he's
nice.
cool. I genuinely really enjoy his videos. Also like that he lives in Guernsey, big tax finesse. So he's one I admire. Who's another good normie
Vlog
YouTuber?
Creations, you could argue is a normie. Yeah, actually, no. His definition of a normie YouTuber. But that's my thing. I've discussed this on a different podcast, but I'm going to say it in more detail now. Is the thing about Vlog Creations? If you've not seen it, it's amazing. It is essentially a pranks channel. I hate pranks in general, but this guy is brilliant because the joke is either on him or it's about creating a sort of odd situation that isn't like hurting anyone.
Yeah.
I think that's really nice. It's like quite wholesome.
Yeah.
But more importantly, the comedic concepts with which he comes up are genius.
Yeah.
Like I look at them and go like, I'm not even capable of that. He's operating on another level.
You know exactly what you say. It's like the genius of it is that it's like they're pranks, but it's like the prank is on him. The prank makes him look bad in front of somebody.
Yes,
it's like the amazing one that he does where he does offering to pay for people's groceries, but then my card gets declined. So like, I got your groceries, man. I got all this, and it's oh shit, my card's been declined.
Yeah, can you put something back?
Can you just put stuff back? Genius, man.
It's so funny. It's not like. There was that era in YouTube where like the biggest videos were prank channels. Do you want to see a prank where a fucking guy walks down a scary concrete underpass and a clown's pulling some dude's guts out?
Oh, I hate those. It's either those or it was those horrible ones where it was just like, guy pulls up in a Ferrari and picks up this girl. She only wants him for the Ferrari though. Just like, guy pulls up and takes some other dude's girlfriend with his Ferrari. It's like, fuck you. This is awful, and they're all fake. Most of them are fake.
Yeah, that's true. It's mostly paid for, I imagine. But like, yeah, that was. You know, a lot of people. I've seen some online sentiment that suggests like 2016 YouTube was like the best YouTube. I disagree with that for various reasons, mostly because I wasn't on it then, but also because like during that era there were these like it was. I would say it was like 2014 to 2016 was where it was a real shaky. But there was every day you'd go on YouTube and there would be a prank video that borderlined on like this is harassment of these people.
Well, let's not forget also there was the whole thing of just the like kissing prank. Was it that prank invasion? Yeah. I think it was just like kissing my sister prank. Kissing some random girl and getting a blowjob in a parking lot prank. It's just like,
is this a prank or is this pornography for children?
This is very soft. This is softcore pornography, soft play for pornography. In fact,
no good. That's bad.
But the thing with that is, it's like 2016 YouTube, the shitty prank era. It's like it's all well and good looking back, but you just got to remember that like every era of YouTube is doing some gross shit that everyone's going to look back on in embarrassment. You know? I've got videos I'm embarrassed of, just some shit that I've said 2 years ago, a year ago.
Same.
So it is what it is, but
I agree, but it's not quite the same level of heinous. Like, you know, I think if you're hurting yourself and your own reputation, all power to you. If you want to smoke a load of salvia on camera, I'm glad YouTube is the place that you can do that, and you have been able to do that for about 12 years.
Apparently,
even build careers off it. Shout out Internet Eric.
Yeah.
But that's fine to me. If you want to destroy yourself, go for it. That's your choice. But when you start like hurting other people with your content, and you know what, I'll say that's the same for some drama channels. I don't rate it. I don't like it. I don't like it when fucking YouTube channels, their whole reason for being is just like slating other YouTubers. I think that's real mean. Don't like it.
It's tricky.
It's not for me.
It's tricky, right? Because as somebody that does slate other people regularly, sort of,
It's not the same.
I think what's key is that these YouTubers that do the drama stuff and they go at each other. It's like it's also predicated on like takedowns and exposing people's bad virtues. Oh, Keemstar's a bad guy. Here's all the evidence for him being a bad guy. And it's just like so often it is sort of like the twisting of facts to score points. Which I think is where it gets bad, rather than just like, at least for me, it's like I'm giving a historical take on just like, this is something that somebody did. You make your own conclusions on it, but it's bad. It seems pretty bad. Whereas it's like these people, they're picking on the drama channels. It feels like they're picking on real minutiae and trying to spin it bad for clicks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm struggling to articulate this, but it's just like, I don't know.
What I think you have successfully articulated is the point. The point of these interactions is that they will lead to something more. Like it will hurt. Like the whole point is to just hurt someone's reputation and really their career. That's what I don't, because it's actually enacting real world. The aim of it is to enact real world harm on the person you're criticizing. And I'm just like, well, fuck that. Calling someone names, hey baby, that's my bread and butter. I like doing that.
I likewise.
And then criticizing big companies or whatever, but individuals. But it also comes down to the fact of just like, if someone's like a bad guy and they make good content, I don't care. To a certain extent. If someone's doing illegal stuff, then that's different. But like trying to cancel someone for being a meanie or being like not holding the ethics that you do, I'm just like, I don't give a shit because I don't watch their content. So why would I care what they're like? I'm already ignoring them.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It's ironic as well because it's like these different patches of YouTube have different morality. You know, jump a few months ago, at least in hip hop, it's just like everyone's fucking loving King Von, and it's just like you talk about people getting cancelled. It's like no one tried to cancel King Von for killing those people.
Yeah,
you're cancelled. You did murders that you're proud of.
That's what I like about hip hop is that like unless you do something naughty sex wise, you're pretty much uncancelable in the hip hop world. My favorite rapper is YNW Melly, and I am conscious of the fact that he is probably a double murderer
of his buddies,
of his two best friends.
He seemingly is a snake,
but I just love the noises he makes.
I
love his noises. Pecan butter.
He's so good.
I love him. He's so
Melly.
good. He's a musical. I don't know, just love him. Musical genius. Yeah, I'll say it.
It's incredible.
He's my favourite rapper.
He's amazing. The
Number
noises
one.
he makes. It's a shame because there's little drips and drabs of Melly songs that have released over the past 2 years now. He's been in jail. But like, I mean,
none of them have the energy of his best work. Though.
No, exactly.
Because
they're all offcuts. They're all leftovers, you know, and he must be in that jail cell just coming up with heat.
His new songs, well, the leftovers, they just don't have the raw psychopathic energy that his best work does. I'm reminded, of course, of the classic Blue Balenciagas and the iconic line, brains marinating on the boulevard.
Just a hot boulevard. Your brains have been blown onto them. It's just so hot. The brains are cooking.
The brains are marinating in the sense that they are cooking in the juices of which they are still in.
Yes.
It's just so graphic. What an image.
They're going to be some sidewalk flavoured brains once they make it to the plate.
And I should point out that I don't love Melly just for his graphic lyrics. I also love the noises he makes. The funny noises. Yeah. Brilliant.
Amazing.
It's great.
Murder on My Mind. Free Melly, man.
Free Melly, man.
Free Melly.
Free Melly for no reason other than I want more music from him.
Free Melly. I'm not getting no Uber pool with Melly. No. If I'm meeting up with Melly, if me and Melly are going somewhere, separate cars. However, free him.
If you don't know who YW Melly is, just Google image his face right now while you're listening to this, and that will tell you all you need to know.
Yeah, menacing. Melly the Menace.
Scary dude.
Scary Brer.
Would you meet him if you could?
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too. I have no professional benefit of meeting him, but I would want to.
Imagine I got the Melly interview and I just like, got to go and meet Melly. There's no amount of bulletproof vesting is going to make you feel safe. Hey Melly, thanks for the interview. Bye.
Thanks for the interview. Little bit bummed out that you poured gasoline on our cameraman and playing through some matches around him.
Marinated his brains on the boulevard again. They are marinated. It's bad. Man, I don't know. I'm a good guy. I've got good morals. But, you still just get scared that you're going to get caught up in some sort of jam and end up in the slammer.
In the slammer. Would you say that you are not scared of jail, but it's something that it would be fair for me as someone who knows you to say that it's something that you think about as a hypothetical more often than maybe is. Why is that, do you think?
I think about jail a lot because in many ways, to me, and I'm sure many others, it's like the idea of somehow going to jail. And bear in mind, I don't commit crimes. I'm a pretty law-abiding citizen. Mm-hmm. So the idea of going to jail, it feels like the end. It's like if something happened and I had to go to jail, that would be the end of my life. But really, it would just be the beginning of my jail life.
Yeah.
And I would settle into... it's just... I often imagine just what that would be like, finding out what's on the other side of that. Finding out you have to go to jail. It's like, what would my first day in jail be like? Who would I make friends with? Would I like my jail friends? Would they be nice to me? Probably not.
No.
But, you'd have to accept your lot. You'd have to set up your cell. You'd probably start collecting ramen for the good days. You get ramen with your commissary. If you behave yourself, you might get a little TV in your cell.
I think I would be like good boy in jail. I mean, I'm a good boy in real life, so I mean that would be unsurprising. But I think if I'd be quite good at playing by the rules. I'd be like, okay, this is the game in front of me. And being in jail is not unlike being in school in that there's a path to exit. And you've got to try hard. Yeah. But of course, if you want to play jail on hard mode, which you may, if you're in a jail sentence forever, then you have no choice but to play it on hard mode because you ain't getting out. Yeah. And so you've just got to go to the top of the pyramid.
Power and respect.
Yeah. And as a weedy guy, my path to respect in the jail system is unlikely. But do you reckon? And you're in a similar boat. I feel like you're a little bit more street savvy than I. Maybe you reckon you could play jail on hard mode, gain some sort of powers?
They say when you get to jail, first thing you got to do is kick someone's ass.
Yeah, they say that.
Now, I'd get to jail and I'd be looking around for someone real small. I'd be the type of guy that would get to jail and I'd be like, oh, you got to kick someone's ass on the first day. Beat up the smallest guy. Turns out he's like the king of the white supremacists or something. I'd just be like, oh no, no.
You accidentally pick on the guy that everyone knows not to fuck with because he like ate his cellmate's face.
Yeah. So
I'd quietly.
I'd kick his ass and then I'd be like, oh no, I got a problem.
I've got Frankie Face Eater on my tail.
But essentially, right, you'd be away. Because really, what it is they want to test you. You arrive to jail for your first time, and they're pressing you to see if you're tough. So what you're really supposed to do is beat up the most badass guy on the first day, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's a game of warding off retaliation for the remainder of your stay.
It would make your stay in jail a little bit more, like, exciting, I guess. Because jail life is pretty boring for the most part. I think that's the main thing that most of them struggle with. Is like... God, being stuck in the same room all day with one cellmate. Imagine what that's like. Prison planet. We're in a prison planet. Alex Jones was right. I told you this whole time, everyone.
Man, imagine Trump gets sent to jail. What's that going to be like? I mean, I know we're not talking politics, but just in general, I know sort of everyone's got it out for Trump. What does his first day in the slammer look like? Let's assume he gets sent to like a medium security prison because they really want to stick it to him. He arrives on his first day. And it's like, well... Got his cellmate. I don't know. What would his approach be? I mean, he's too frail to kick.
Hi, Spider. It's just Trump with Spider in the cellmate. Hi, my name's Donald Trump. You might have heard of me. I'm very famous.
I'm really famous.
What's your name? My name's Spider. I collect people's ears. Oh, no. And truly, that is the American ending that needs to happen, really, doesn't it?
Well,
It's not gonna.
If... Make Spider great. Make Spider
a great cellmate again.
Give Spider his eye back again.
My name's Spider and I see red.
This is one of our many ongoing jokes that's really beloved is the jailbird, evil, scary man named Spider that pops up in a lot of our media.
Yeah, it's like my worst nightmare. That I've had to imagine him. Like, if this were a horror movie, I would fight him in my dreams. Hey, so we're approaching the final minute of the podcast. We have discussed a few things. We've discussed what it would be like to be a president, what it would be like to go to jail, and we've also discussed the architectural ins and outs of designing our supervillain lair.
Hell yeah.
Life is full of possibilities.
Life's good, man. Life's good. I feel like we've had a lot of laughs, a lot of emotions. Not really that many emotions.
No.
But you know what? Plenty of words.
And you know what? Sometimes you don't get anything else. I don't even have a question to say, but I would just like to say thank you to everyone who's been listening so far. We've got some more podcasts upcoming, and hope you guys stick around. We may even have some guests. But until then, we shall see you on the other side of the podcast.
Smell you later.
Bye.